You okay, babe?
Yeah, I'm up. My brain won't turn off.
You want me to get up with you?
No, you can stay in bed. I'm gonna go do some work.
Okay. I love you.
I love you too. So looking back over 2025, this year has been one of the most fast-paced years that Peaches and I have ever had. We ended 2024 by going to Las Vegas. We ended up spending Christmas Day in Death Valley with our friends Jay and Krista. We solidified a bunch of friendships. We didn't realize at the time how much we needed the downtime that we were getting and how fast-paced this year was about to become. January of 2025 was a really chill month for us. Other than me releasing my first book, No One's Coming to Save You, we had a fair amount of downtime. Other than creating content, we really didn't do much. In February, we went to Tennessee. We got to be in the cuffing season video for Hypnotized. For those of you who don't know, that's our intro song for the podcast, and it very much sums up the life of Peaches and I. While on set of the video, I bought a bottle of bourbon. I ended up getting a bottle of Stag, and little did I know that I was going to come home and sell my entire whiskey collection and no longer drink. But I still have the bottle. While we were there, we also did a meet and greet. We ended up having people come out to the cabin that we were staying at, and for the first time, we met Buff Bell and her husband. We did some photos for the Good Wives. It was a very chill, exciting experience. March and April was the usual grind. Work, record, etc. In April, though, we did our first ayahuasca ceremony. That weekend changed our lives. A lot of healing, a lot of realizations took place over that weekend, and it fundamentally shaped who we have become since then, not just as individuals, but as a couple. We very quickly learned that taking the medicine was just part of the journey, and the integration process that followed was such a big deal. And it helps you hold on to the things in life that you want to cement into your new existence. After April, everything changed. Our views on life and love, faith and understanding, our views on God. April 2025 will always be a month that is looked back on with reverence. Somewhere in Q1, things in the tattoo shop started to make drastic changes. I lost my manager. Black Sails Tattoo, which was the tattoo shop that got destroyed during Hurricane Ian, was rebuilt. And I gave the business to my best friend, Sean, minus 20%, which I retained so that I was making mailbox money. Somewhere along the lines of this year, I also ended up giving that up to him as well. So he is solely the owner of Black Sails Tattoo. It's still kind of a sister shop because he's like a brother to me, but I am now down to one tattoo studio. The changes in the tattoo shop changed the way my studio is being ran. Jeff Graham stepped up. His wife now works for us. His kids are now working for us as well. And my views on the tattoo industry as a whole has changed. I don't like the tattoo industry anymore. I haven't liked it for a long time. I've become almost bitter to it because of the way that the people in the industry are now. And it's just the new generation of tattoo artists don't align with the way I believe the tattoo industry should be. In May, we did our second international retreat. We went to Costa Rica and spent 2 weeks. So it was a second trip for 2 weeks. What a cool experience. We got to meet a whole lot of people from our Discord. A lot of known faces that went to Thailand with us in October came to Costa Rica. We had a really dope experience that fundamentally changed our lives. We got to see a lot of the country. We got to see some of the beach. We were able to go to places like the Whale Tail. We had a lot of really cool dinners, swimming. The 2 weeks were different. 1 week, one group of people got one experience, and because we were staying for the additional week, we went ahead and went to the other coast and got a new hotel and had a whole new group of people come out. So we had two very different experiences the whole time that we were there. Not gonna lie, the most crazy experience of the entire trip for me was riding the tour bus, because we were in a giant tour bus going up and down mountainsides and dirt roads, and we sat very close to the front, and the bus is just a flat thing. And even though we were not right on the window and we were still in the front, that little bit of distance made it look like he was driving off the cliff constantly. I'm sure that I shaved at least 10 years off my life with the amount of heart attacks that I had in fucking Costa Rica. Totally safe, but sketchy. We had amazing food, amazing friends. We got to go to 2 different waterfalls. Peaches jumped off of one. We went zip lining, got to see a sloth on jungle night tours. And then we also had a really good seminar where we had everybody sit around in a circle and had a lot of conversations about what was going on in life. It was very productive. Anytime we do one of these retreats, whether it be domestic or international, there are relationships that are bonded. We have people come into our life that we didn't really know on a personal level that end up becoming permanent fixtures in our life. And the biggest takeaway from these trips are the relationships that are bonded on them. In June, we did our first couples retreat domestically. We rented an Airbnb in Cape Coral, Florida, and had 4 or 5 couples come out and stay on the property with us. We cooked. Peaches did sound baths, meditation. We did some breath work, but ultimately we coached. We had 2 days of coaching where we sat down as a group and went through everything. And then the next day we went ahead and did individual coaching with people. We kind of just did that whole seminar fly by the seat of our pants to see how it would work. And we learned a lot. While we were there, Peaches and I bonded with Steven and his wife, Libby. They live in Wyoming. They came all the way out here. And since then they've come out a couple of times for other things, but they have become a permanent fixture in our lives. We didn't realize it at first, but the Costa Rica trip, the Tennessee meet and greet, and the couples retreat that we held in Cape Coral was the start of something new in our life. At the time, we were just meeting people. Those people soon became friends. We made new connections, bonds formed. This is important, but I'll come back to it. July was our second ceremony. On a personal level, this ceremony taught me that I needed to let go and allow Peaches to take care of me on a level that I was uncomfortable doing previously. There was a whole lot of my wife's got me. She was able to help me through the ceremony and because I got so fucked up that I couldn't see or walk straight, couldn't see straight. And she was able to not only get me to the bathroom and back to my mat, but she was able to make sure that while I was in the throes of my experience and she had come down from hers, that she was able to support me in a way that I have never been comfortable allowing someone else to support me. It showed me that it's okay for me to lean on my wife. It showed me that even though I feel like I'm a burden at times and I am a disappointment or I am ruining other people's experiences, that it is okay for me to hold space for myself and experience my own experience. It showed me that even though I feel like I'm a burden, sometimes I'm really not. This lesson is something that I didn't learn the way that I should have learned it during ceremony, and I had to go through it again in another ceremony in October. Out of all of the ayahuasca ceremonies we've done, this one is the one that holds the most meaning to me because of the experience that I had. The first one that we went through was very healing. I gained a lot of love and compassion, and I was able to let a lot of things go. This ayahuasca ceremony that we did in July was a much deeper experience for me. Moving on to August. August was our second couples retreat. This one we had a little bit more of a foundation, a little bit more planning going into. We went to North Carolina. While we were there, day one, we got unpacked and where people are starting to show up and we get a message in our Discord saying that one of the couples that were coming were in a car accident and totaled their car. We found out while we were there that some of the people that were driving by saw the accident, saw the car totaled, and now we are having this weird like, oh my God, what do we do? I went and picked them up in the van, met them at a gas station, took them to their vehicle where it was towed, sat there while they unloaded their vehicle and pulled all of their shit out, put it into the van, and then drove them back to the Airbnb. We had dinner Friday night. We did a card game and everybody got to know each other and talk and had a good time. This cabin in North Carolina had a massive front yard. There was lots of smoking happening and like, it was just a very cool experience. I actually think that property held an energy that has been unlike any of the Airbnbs that we've rented. And I got to be honest, this couples retreat as of now has the most meaning to me out of all of the retreats that we've done because of the healing that happened during that time frame. I can't say the women's retreat plays into that because even though I was there for the women's retreat, I wasn't included in the way that I was in the couples retreat in North Carolina. The way that the couples retreat in North Carolina played out was very similar to the first one in that we had meals that were made by the women. They got together and did group cooking and were able to bond in that aspect while men talked and did other things. On day one, we ended up doing about 8 or 9 hours of couples coaching where we did everything in a group, which allowed the people that were there to work through surface level things that a lot of people shared. And it got us through a lot of the bullshit that is not really prevalent to life, but is the things that ends up in the snowball from the minor thing that never got addressed. Day two, we got to get into those situations. Day two also had a whole lot of personal connection that happened at the end of the retreat. We had dinner. We all sat around a fire pit and had a lot of breathing and meditative practices and a whole lot of energy releases. And there was a lot of bonds that were formed there. Again, we left the North Carolina retreat with new friends and new connections. That was the most important thing from the retreat. And there's a theme that's happening. In September, we went to Utah. I always thought my Utah trip would be for photography. This was for vacation. While we were there, we met up with Jay and Krista. They live in Vegas. They drove out and spent a weekend with us. Graciela came out. We met with Trevor. And we just kind of traveled Utah and did cool shit. We went crystal shopping. We went sightseeing, saw some waterfalls, went to a park, did a little bit of off-roading. It was a really good experience for us. While we were there, we played the real estate game. For those of you who don't know, every single time Peaches and I go out of town, we look at the median household income. We look at how much land is going to cost, and we try to figure out if this is a location that we would want to retire at. Utah is one of those places that is high on my list, but low on Peaches. This would have to be something I would have to sell her on because she doesn't want to be in the desert. I just want land. The land in Utah in a lot of places is very cheap compared to places like in Florida. It's also important to recognize that while we were out there, Jay and Krista both went to Costa Rica with us. Graciela went to Costa Rica with us. And we have seen both of them in ceremony and in other locations throughout the year based off of the Costa Rica trip. And obviously, Jay and Krista have become friends of ours. I view Jay as a brother. We love them to death. In October, Peaches did her first women's retreat. This was one of those things where she put a whole lot of time into planning it, binders, people, Discord chats, the whole nine. And I was going to go and just kind of hang back, film content, and not really be there. As the thing progressed, there were people who said that they weren't really comfortable with me being out of the room and didn't really want me to be involved in things. So I hung out for the first 2.5 days in the room. Half of the day Sunday, I was allowed to come out and interact. And then we interacted a little bit Monday morning and then we left. I got to see Peaches on Sunday doing her thing though. 30 women sat around her, almost 30 women sat around her while she's reading her binder. They're taking notes. People are raising their hand and asking questions. And I got to see my wife in a whole new light. It was one of the most holy shit she's standing in her power experiences that I've ever got to witness her go through. And it was fucking astonishing. She also did morning meditations every day. She did sound baths every day. And then Sunday night before we left, we ended up doing a hyper intensive breath work, which releases chemicals in the brain that can create a psychedelic experience. And over that 15-minute experience that we did, there was a lot of crying, a lot of healing, lots of snot, lots of hugs. There was a lot of bonding with those women. Also on that retreat, we realized that there were people there that we were able to collect into our little new community of friends. We started realizing in October that the people that have been coming to all of these things and the new people that we have formed bonds with that have gone from a digital community into our real life personal existence have become permanent fixtures in our lives. And it's not just their friends in Discord. There's text messaging and phone calls and planning on trips and things of that nature. And we picked people up in October as well. October was also our third ayahuasca ceremony, which was a complete fucking shit show. And it turned us off to the people that we were doing ceremonies with. It turned us off to the tribe that came out there. There was a whole lot of things that happened in October that kind of made us course correct where our life is going again. The saving grace of the ceremony that happened in October was the amount of people from the To Be Better tribe that came out and hung out with us while we were there doing that also wanted to go into the medicine. Some people got some healing. A lot of us didn't. But it was still an experience that we cherish, and lifelong bonds were met from that as well. November, we did a weekend in Destin, Florida, like a block away from the beach. Big old 3-story house, heated pool. And it was for our moderators of the Discord community. We ended up having, the people who moderate and their spouses come out, and we spent time around a pool. We cooked, we had food, we napped, we watched TV, and we just kind of fucking hung out for the weekend and vibed. It was a much needed decompression that didn't feel like we had to perform or work or problem solve or help anyone. We were able to just exist, be around people, paint, whatever the case may be, and exist. It was a really nice little downtime. We also went to Kentucky in November. Our goal in Kentucky was to meet with the owners of Sanctuary Church and find out what it would take for us to have our own dedicated Florida branch that we were in charge of Sanctuary Church. We realized while we were there, however, that our intentions going in was not the intention of the church. They had a very different expectation of what was going to come out of these conversations than we did. And I don't know if that was a me problem or a them thing. I don't know if I didn't articulate my concerns and my wants deep enough, or if they just weren't listening and wanted to only have conversations in person. There were a whole lot of things that could have been done differently to not have spent the money going up there. Realizing what we realized with the church, we realized that in order for us to do what we want to do with a church that is able to serve sacred sacraments, aka mushrooms, there's a strong possibility that we are going to have to file our own 501c3. We may have to file a 508. We are going to have to find a lawyer that specializes in psychedelic sacraments so that we are able to possibly have our own church. We have still decided to go through the ministership program through Sanctuary so that we are able to be a high functioning member of their church, I guess you would call that. There would be no real privileges of that other than us going through all of their seminary so that we have all the knowledge they have. And it will allow us to go to their minister meetings as they have them throughout the year, take part in sacraments, and it builds a community and fosters a friendship with them so that in the event that we need anything or have questions, not only do we have a community to fall back on, but we have somebody that's got years of experience doing this. Is that what we want? Not really. We wanted to have our own branch of their church. That's still kind of a want, but I understand the fears that they have. Giving up their baby to another person that could potentially destroy everything that they built is a very big risk. So I understand their standpoints. There's a lot of disappointment there because I feel like we could have had all of that conversation over a Zoom call versus us spending 4 days of our life spending, over 1,000 miles driving up and back, and the mileage on the van, the whole nine. I'm going to get into the van thing as well a little bit in the video, but we also did a meet and greet while we were in Kentucky. And that meet and greet was a lot of familiar faces, people from Costa Rica, Tennessee, North Carolina, and a whole lot of new people came out to meet with us. We were able to sit down and have conversations and just fucking hang out, vibe, and exist with people that we've never met before in real life. There were people who we video game with who are in our Discord, people who are coming to our December couples retreat, which is happening in like 3 days. We got to vibe with people and people got to see that we're not just the internet personalities, that we are who we are. And if we weren't, all of these people that we've met on all of these excursions wouldn't keep coming out to where we're at. And it solidifies a whole lot of, this is our life. At the time of this recording, today is December 3rd. We have a couples retreat that happens this weekend. We have holidays that are going to take place. We have a whole lot of things that are working out through the month of December, but our year has been something massive that has taken place every month of the year minus the first quarter. There's been a lot of change that's happened over this year. This has been one of the busiest years of our life, like I said earlier. It's also been one of the most rewarding years of my life. I'm assuming Peaches is the same, but I don't want to speak for her on that. Earlier, I mentioned the amount of people that we connected with and the friends that we've made along the way, how those bonds have connected and the way that we have kind of pulled them into our life. We realize now, and this kind of took place in October, where we have had a whole lot of people come through and like disperse and some stay. But as we've been going, we have been handpicking people to be a part of our personal and real life tribe. I know that we call the Discord community, our Patreon, the tribe, because that's what they are to us. But we have now pulled people out of a digital sphere and into our real life. And we've created very real bonds with these people. We have people that we check in on a regular basis and people who check in on us on a regular basis. And there's been a whole lot of love that's been shared because of this. And that is one of the biggest takeaways from 2025 for me. A minute ago, I mentioned the van, the To Be Better van, our travel vehicle that has had people hanging outside of their fucking windows at 80 miles an hour while we're driving down the interstate waving at us. Really crazy to see people doing that shit. It's dangerous. Stay inside your vehicle. Just wave, honk as you drive by. Keep yourself safe. We have a 25-foot extended roof Sprinter van that's lifted, mud tires, giant To Be Better vinyl along the back of it. Solar's on the roof. We got a bed put in it. This was something that we bought at the very end of 2023 when my cousin Joey was still here. And we kind of throughout 2024 did things to it to get it to where we wanted it. 2025, we've put a whole lot of money into this van. And other than a bathroom and a toilet, this van is capable of being lived out of. So if we ever wanted to do long-term travel, we could go on the road and we could stop in towns, get Airbnbs for a night or two, or hit gyms to shower. But we could travel, do cool meet and greets, stay somewhere if we want, stay in the van if we want, never stay in the same place, do BLM land, whatever we want to do. And we could stay off grid in this van for a minimum of 2 weeks with the solar panels that we have set up, the refrigerator that's in it, the whole nine. This has been a dream of mine my entire life, and this finally came into fruition, even though I haven't actually used the van yet the way the van is meant to be used. Right now, we do use it to travel. We have put almost all of the miles that are on this van are used going from state to state, and it just hit 10,000 miles. I have the first oil change plan is tomorrow. 2025 is also the year of certifications. Pieces of paper don't mean shit. It means that you were able to pass a test based off of the things that you read. I have a disdain for them as somebody who didn't finish high school and never got a good enough diploma. I don't think that a piece of paper determines your intelligence or your worth. I think that having a piece of paper does nothing more than give other people a little bit of comfort if you are doing something in a field where you should probably have a piece of paper. One of the things that I did personally, Peaches has done as well, is I became a certified psychedelic integration coach. I didn't read a single piece of paper on that thing. I just took the quizzes and passed the test, 97%. I then went back and downloaded all the audio files. And when we drove to Kentucky, I listened to 10 hours of course. And I did learn a couple things that I didn't know before, but it wasn't enough that it prevented me from passing the test that I needed to pass to become a certified integration coach, psychedelic integration coach. I am working currently on becoming certified in breathwork. And I have a couple other certifications that I want to nitpick off the internet and do the little classes to gain a little bit of information to get a little bit better than I currently am. Some of the certifications that we have picked up are going to be very beneficial for us moving forward into 2026 based off of the retreats that we do, the healing modalities that my wife is doing. She's certified in Reiki. She's doing a whole lot of things to make these retreats more beneficial to the people who are coming, whereas mine has been more ceremony based and trying to help people grow in that aspect. Speaking on these little retreats, we also have started discussing the idea of Peaches and I doing hangout retreats where we rent an Airbnb. We're not doing couples coaching. This is not a couples only or a women's or men's only. This is going to be a reason for people to come out, rent a room at the Airbnb that we're at, and to just spend time with us over the weekend. Whether that's zip lining, whitewater rafting, going to the gun range, I don't know, driving over cars with tanks, whatever it is that we decide to do. It would be a cost of the room. Food is included like all of our retreats, and we would be able to do things to just kind of vibe out and hang out with people. I feel like that would give us a lot of more insight into who people are and will allow us to cherry pick more people for our little community and life real community that we're building. And that also transitions into some goals that I have for 2026. We are going to have, by the end of 2026, at least 20 acres of land somewhere in the southeast United States. Alabama is a very big possibility. And if I can convince Peaches, maybe somewhere in like Utah or Arizona. With that land is going to come a barn-dough where we will retire to eventually. There will be a outdoor pavilion style pole barn that's got a concrete slab underneath of it, that's got a giant fire pit in the middle, an outdoor kitchen, freezers, refrigerators. And this will be where people meet together to commune with dinner and have a very big table that we can all just vibe, eat outside, and really spend time with each other. The goal of this property by 2030 will be able to host retreats, ceremonies, have people live on the property. We want to have a food forest on there. We want to have a minimum of 10 tiny homes on there that are used as cabins where people can either live full time or come and stay at when we're doing retreats. We want to have solar. We want it to be a self-sufficient community. Now, if we can get 50 acres of land, that number may change, but that is a long-term goal for us. But I believe that that's coming, and I believe that all of this is stemming because of the tribe that we're building, as well as the retreats that we're doing. I also feel like I need to touch on the podcast. Voice of the Broken is still a thing, even though I have done very little Voice of the Broken over the last 4 months. We've been so busy that I haven't wanted to do it. Honestly, I just don't want to take on that type of emotional toll when I could be doing To Be Better content that makes me feel a little bit better. It doesn't exhaust me as much, and I have my beautiful wife as a co-host that I get to talk to. Don't get me wrong, Deadeye, I love you, but my wife looks way better than you. So the Good Wives podcast was transitioned into Courage and Curves podcast, and I don't know where that's going. I got to be honest, that's not really a me thing. That's my wife's thing. I know that they went from doing weekly episodes to doing monthly episodes and kind of putting things on pause because Belle got sick, Peaches got busy, and life is transitioning. Our side projects with the podcasts are not a necessity to us. It's not something that we need to do for revenue. It's just something that we want to do kind of as a passion thing. If we have co-hosts that are willing to do all the work and we get to show up and hang out and they record, edit, clip, handle everything, and we get passive income from showing up, fucking about that. Otherwise, I don't know where these things are going to go. Focusing on one podcast, each episode that we record is about 15 hours worth of work. Editing, clipping, email screening, recording, re-recording, setting up, all of that shit. It takes about 15 hours to do a 2-hour episode. It gets exhausting when you're doing 3 to 5 of those a week. Now you add on side projects and it is a full-time job. It's more than 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week. It's a lot. 2025, my motto was live with intent. My motto going into 2026 is going to be live in the present. I spent so much time this year focusing on all of the things that we need to do for the future to get the land, to get the van done, to make sure we're going to be able to homeschool the kids by the time they hit 5th grade, to make sure that our debt is paid down enough and enough money is going and saving for taxes and land and the connections that we're building and trying to build businesses and buy into things. And I have spent so much time stressed out and worrying about what may come that I have missed out on a whole lot that has been happening. We built meditation decks on the property. Peaches got a garden out there. We started building our food forest. I have not spent a whole lot of time outdoors. I spent a lot of time in front of my computer, a lot of time reading, researching, planning, plotting, trying to get to where I want to go because I want to be able to enjoy my future. And I have a very real fear that if I continue to live my life this way, that this habitual pattern that I choose to exist in is going to make it so that I don't ever want to retire, that I'm going to always want to have something to do, to always reach that next goal, instead of that next goal simply being waking up, having some biscuits and gravy with my wife, and then going outside and sitting on the porch and hanging out with the tribe. I still want to plan on things, and I still want to have people around, and I want to help and grow and evolve, and I want To Be Better to become something so much more than it is. I do believe that the next iteration of To Be Better is going to be a lot of live stuff, where whether it's live calls into the podcast, more retreats, more ceremonies, whatever the case may be, it will be a lot more in-person things, because it's one thing to talk to you guys on the internet. It's another to meet you face to face and have conversations where you tell us about how we've changed your lives, and we get to meet your children that you wouldn't have had there not been a podcast, or your partner that almost walked out the door that you were able to save because you realized your actions were the problem and you were able to take accountability. There's been a lot of growth, a lot of love, and a lot of evolution over the last 3 years. We are moving into season 4. The podcast does not look like it did in the beginning. And a lot of this year was me realizing that our best years were not the first year and a half, 2 years of the podcast. It's me realizing that the growth and the evolution of who we are as a couple, like a married couple, who we are as a co-host couple, who we are as individuals, has shaped something great. And the podcast, even though it's not moving metrically as fast as it was, I think the newness of who we are and what we do wore off. We are still seeing growth. We're seeing it across every channel, every metric, and we are evolving into new things. Another goal that I have this year is to not let the ugly of the internet impact my life the way that I've allowed it to impact my life over the last 4 months, especially the last month. I got really good at the beginning of the year of not reading comments, not being involved in all of that, and just letting the negative shit go. For some reason, over the last few months, after I've wound down for the day and I'm laying on the couch doing nothing and I pick up my phone and I start doom scrolling, I find myself reading the comment section and getting engaged with people over stupid shit from people that I don't care about, that I've never met before, that has no sway over my life. And a lot of them don't even follow us. They just don't like me. So they want to say negative shit in the comments, and I have allowed it to affect my mental health. My goal for this year coming up is to not let that be a thing. One of the big goals that I have for next year is to do cinematic short films. I want to do a video of Peaches reacting to the world around her with me no longer existing in it, meaning I passed away. I want to do videos on self-care, videos on time management, videos on the kids, not with the kids in it, but like being a parent. I have so many ideas I just want to do, right? One of the things that is going to be required for me to do that is to hold on to my phone a whole lot less and my journal a whole lot more. I want to be able to write my notes down, my screen ideas, my shot lists, music ideas, everything that I can think of when I think about it, pull out my little notebook, journal, fucking jot it down and be able to do these things. Peaches wants to direct. She wants to figure out lighting, figure out scenes, and do all of these things as well as star in these things. These videos could be 3 minutes. They could be 30 minutes. I have no idea because we haven't actually started doing any of them yet, but she's just as excited as I am about doing them. So I think that these are going to be great. I also want to buy new cameras. Right now, there's 3 cameras in here. My vlogging camera, my Sony FX3, her Sony FX3, and I'm realizing that I could set up another angle in here, and we could have, you guys would be able to see the whole wall, or we could have a camera angle like this for both of us to look into, and we can do the whole thing. I also think that will bring more value to the podcast because it keeps you guys engaged as we're moving around and doing things. We want to interview people a whole lot more. 2026 is going to be a lot. And as I say all of that, it's a good reminder that I said that my motto for next year is to live in the present. As you guys listen to everything that I just said, there's so much future shit planned, so many things that we want to do. And like, I still want to be able to live in the moment. I want to be able to be more engaged in the kids' playtime. I want to be more outside with my wife on the meditation deck. I want to be able to stick my toes in the sand or walk around barefoot in the grass a little bit more. I want to be a little bit more disconnected from technology and reconnected with my family. So with that being said, guys, thanks for watching this thing. My challenge for you this year is to create a motto for yourself, to go back and look at your life in 2025 and really analyze and pick apart all of your shortcomings, all of your wins, losses, and the things that you learned this year. Cement those things. Figure out what you could have done to be a better person. Figure out what you did to become a better person and start to become a better person. Live better, do better, to be better. See you guys on the next one.